If you're a fitness lover, then you probably have some burning questions like we all do about fitness. What red flags do you look out for when you choose a strength training program? And what fitness equipment is worth it and what's not? Well, today we're gonna have a quick Q&A with none other than Justina. She is a fellow YouTuber. She's also a functional fitness trainer and coach, and she is amazing at what she does. You definitely won't wanna miss out on her channel because she offers so much value in each and every one of her videos. So check her out below. And without further ado, let's answer your most common fitness related questions on Instagram. As always, leave any questions that you have in the comment section below and enjoy today's Q&A. Hey, I'm so happy to have you on here today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Katie. I'm very excited.
All right, so we have a few questions from the dark blue community and had some good ones. So I'm honestly excited and intrigued to hear some of your responses for these. So first question that I have for you is about ankle weights. So what are your thoughts and opinions? Because honestly, there's a lot of stuff floating around. A lot of people love them. A lot of people feel like they're bad for your joints. So I'd love to hear your take because I know you know a lot about functional training and all this stuff.
Yeah. So I think number one, it comes down to like, if you enjoy using a particular piece of equipment or doing a particular type of workout and it keeps you consistent and keeps you moving, do that. So if that's ankle weights, if you love ankle weight workouts, do it. I actually did a little research and I couldn't find a single article or anything that links joint health to ankle or wrist weights. So I think they're perfectly fine. From my perspective, I think just ask yourself, like, why are you adding them onto your workout, right? If you are adding them onto your runs or your walks because you want to try and build your endurance by adding some added resistance, I think that can be super beneficial. But if you're just like adding them into your basic strength training, if I'm being honest, I think you're kind of wasting your time and your money. And I think that there are other things that you could work on to, make your legs stronger or make your ankles stronger, if that's the thing, if that's your why behind wanting to add them. So really, again, if you enjoy using them, great. If you don't use them.
Totally. I love that approach. Okay. Next question that we have is how to build back up when injury will take a long time to recover. So this person gave about a year's time to fully recover. And I don't know exactly what injury they're speaking of, but yeah, maybe you can speak to just generally what you would say.
Yeah. I think the first rule of thumb is like, number one, always ask your doctor, physical therapist, whoever you're working with, like, what can I and can't I do? Like, that's always the best rather than trusting a random internet person's opinion. That being said, I think that if there is a way for you to work, we're in New York City, sorry, very loud things over here. If there is a way for you to work around the injury and still move, choose that. Like, for instance, if you are having some kind of knee issue, well, instead of doing things like squats and lunges, do more things like deadlifts and hip thrusts and glute bridges. That way you can still work on the lower part of your body. We're just not getting any knee dominant movements in. Then you also have your whole upper body you can focus on. You have your core that you can focus on. So instead of having one injury and throwing everything out the window and just expecting to start from scratch later, focus on the things you can control. That being said, if you're in a place where like movement, like traditional strength training and your traditional exercise is all off of the table, I would suggest implementing things like walks if you can. Walking is incredibly underrated. So adding things in like that, if that is still in your wheelhouse with your injury. And then the hardest part is just being patient. We live in a society where everything is at our fingertips, and it is so hard just to sit back and give our bodies the time to recover, which is really what it needs. If you have an injury, that means that your bucket of stress in your body is already filled to the top. The last thing you need to do is add more stress on top of it through the form of exercise. So I think a lot of this really depends on what your injury is, but the best advice I can give is like, you have no timeline. You're not competing with anybody to get somewhere first. So let your body recover, give it what it needs, and do what you can to support it.
Love that. I think it's easy to get in that like black and white mindset of maybe if you have like a shoulder injury that you just throw all exercise out the window, but there's tons of things that you can do. Not that there's any pressure to always constantly push through pain or do anything that's unsafe, but I love that. Hey, if you're enjoying today's Q&A, hit that like button and make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can always stay notified for new videos on Dark Blue Nutrition. Okay, back to the Q&A. Next question we have is, are there any red flags that you look out for when you see an online training program? And I know that you do some review videos on YouTube, so I think you're the perfect person to ask for this. What do you think?
I seem so nice on those first two questions. All right. Okay. So this is also just something I'm very passionate about, but the first thing you need to look for is, does the person that you're buying this program from have any type of degree, certification, or at bare minimum, years of professional experience in whatever the heck they're selling you? Or are they just selling you their really excellent genetics? So that is the number one thing that I'm going to say. Just looking for other little red flags, like does the program constantly use words like tone and sculpt and long, lean muscle? Because 99% of the time, those are just buzzwords that are marketed to women that actually, like, those aren't scientific words. They don't mean anything. So that's another just kind of quick red flag to look for. And the other thing, which is a little bit more like you'd have to see the program, but does the program have like thousands and thousands and thousands of exercises in all of the workouts? Basically, if you're never repeating the same exercise twice, like if there's too much differentiation between everything you're doing, that tells me that there's no structure, there is no forethought, there is no planning, there is no progression to actually get you better at anything. And really the only purpose of that workout is to make you sweat, which is not a reason to buy a program, because you could just choose any workouts or any exercises that you wanted to do and save yourself the money. So those are the three biggest things that I would look for when looking for a program. And that is at least the red flags. I could tell you all the good things. Yeah. But those are the red flags to look for.
No, I love that. And I always found it funny and ironic that there's like a lot of YouTube workouts. So not necessarily calling out or throwing shade at any like programs, but like the no repeat stuff. I'm just like, shouldn't you be repeating it a little bit? Just a little bit?
And to like do those type of exercise or workouts every once in a while. Oh, yeah. Great. I get bored really easily too. That's totally fine. But if that's your workout every single time, you're never going to get better at anything.
Exactly. It's totally fine to have all sorts of like whatever you love to do, but just always having no repeat workouts time after time, not going to get you very far.
Especially if you're paying for it.
Yes. Yeah. So true. Love it. Love it. So last question for you. Tell us about your functional training certification and how does it differ from regular, like, I'm just going to go in and get a personal training certificate. Like I have mine from ACE. Mm-hmm. So what's different from that in your functional strength training certification?
Yeah. So I have NASM, and these are the two, like, I would say these are the two most common, like, intro personal training certifications you can get. They're both excellent. And I always recommend people start with those. Like, they're great starter certifications. And that's exactly what they are. They are going to give you just the right amount of education and just the right amount of tools to safely let you train people, right? So that is like basically what a personal training certification is. Most of them. Some of them are more advanced, but it's just going to give you the basics, everything you need to know. Then from there, what I have is very similar, but it is much more about functional training. And I always just say functional training is training for your daily life. So you're going to be training a lot of really basic movement patterns. I always say we're training movements rather than muscle groups, meaning we're not going to go in and do like a bicep day. We're going to go in and we're going to train the entire body the way that you would use it for your specific life. So that is a lot of what this particular certification focuses on. It also focuses on very strategic programming. So making sure, again, we're not just selecting random exercises and throwing them together. We want to make sure that it's progressive over time. We want to make sure that quickly in the moment, we can regress someone, meaning we can make the exercise simpler with keeping the integrity of why we're doing it. You know, if we're doing push-ups and someone can't do it, I'm not going to just say, oh, okay, let's go do a dead bug instead, because those two exercises are really nothing alike. Instead, we're going to raise the hands up higher, make it an incline push-up so that the client can actually get some success while working for the same why. So that's a lot of what this specific certification is all about. And as someone who has kind of preached functional fitness for so long, it was a cert I really wanted for a long time. And I think that it makes you a much better and smarter coach. And I would recommend it to literally every single person out there.
Love it. Yeah. I've heard the word thrown out there, and it's funny, I do Apple Fitness Plus now, and there's a trainer that's I'm almost 100% sure he's a functional fitness trainer. And I'm like, I love his workouts for some reason, and I can't put my finger on why. And it's always like creative and like uses, again, repetitive movements like we talked about earlier, but it feels just right. I can't explain it, but I love that. And I was just curious, just like you have different niches for dietitians, if people could learn more about niches for personal trainers. So cool.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Of course.
If you enjoyed today's video, then you may like my other fitness Q&A video right here. Also, make sure to check out the description box below so you can follow me on other social media platforms. You can also follow my email list by signing up for my 7-day food and fitness freedom challenge. You'll definitely want to check out the 7-day challenge if you want a little bit of a booster to having a healthier relationship with food and with fitness, because that's what we love to talk about on the channel. Well, thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate you too, Justina, for joining me and collaborating with me. I had so much fun talking to you. Appreciate you so much and love what you're doing. All right, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.